What's up, YouTube? So today is actually a Saturday and I'm cleaning out my mess, cleaning out my room, and I'm going through old stuff and things that I often talk about during talks. I always have stories about the past and what I did in the past and how it made me the person that I am today. So actually I'm going to start sharing some of the things that I found with you guys to have an idea of the things I did when I was younger and the things I really enjoyed doing. So I hope you like it. So before there was Surifatu, which Surifatu is actually a real company. There was Corps, which we call NNC, and it was a thing with friends. And I actually had an invitation. This was an invitation. You can see the logo right here. This was an invitation for the introduction event of the Corps in Suriname. That's how I really started. It's actually a party on the 31st of December, and was the first time that I actually wasn't at home during New Year's, which there is a Surinamese tradition. When the year ends, you have to be at home at 12 o'clock. You have to shoot your pagara and then have a drink with the family. That's Surinamese tradition. And this was the first time in Suriname that I broke that tradition by having a party on the 31st after 10 o'clock. And it was a crowded party until 11 o'clock on the 31st. And after 2 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of January. And at 12 at midnight, when the year ended, it was me and some Dutch interns, and that was it. Everybody left. All the Surinamese people, they left. And that was really my first experience, my first party that I threw on the 31st of December. This is a program of the first International Student Conference in Suriname. A friend of mine, Tony, if you're watching, this brings back memories. He organized the International Student Conference where students from all over Europe, even someone from Japan, came to Suriname to exchange knowledge and exchange ideas. And one of the companies that I was working for was one of the sponsors. It was back at the time, 2010, I was still working for my dad's company. And there was a really interesting program. Learned a lot, met a lot of new people. And it's a good memory to have, actually. As you probably might know, my mom is a visual artist, so I spent a lot of time in musea when I was young, when we were traveling. And my first date with my wife was actually in a museum, the Pont in Tilburg. And this is the memory I still have of it. This is an artwork by Anish Kapoor. It's a very, very interesting artwork. It really it messes with your mind because it just looks like something very plain, but it's actually a hole, and you can't see the depth of the hole. You can't see how deep the hole is. It's a very, very interesting artistic concept. So yeah, that's my memory of my first date with my wife. So I wouldn't call myself a serial entrepreneur, but I have been involved in a lot of companies in their startups, and this is actually an advertising contract of one of the first companies. Actually, I think the first company that I've co-founded, and we made these really, really fancy advertising contracts. I think that it was really expensive just to make the contract, to print it out, but it's really interesting looking back at it. And actually, it was kind of ahead of its time. It's actually still very, very workable contracts. Like, I collect the weirdest thing, like a coin from the North Sea Jazz Festival. I think this must have been in 2009 or something. And yes, this is actually a silent plug because I want to remember you. Next month is Jazz Month. Next month is the Suriname Jazz Festival, the 15th edition. And we've got some very, very, very good artists coming to Suriname. So if you're in Suriname on October 26, 27, 28, make sure to block those dates to come to the Suriname Jazz Festival 2017. So here's the flyer from the Jazz Festival in 2011, a black-white version, of course. So the first year I took over Surifesta, we made invitations to TBL cinemas to watch the movie I Love December. Sergio, I don't know if you remember that day, but his documentary was featured in TBL as the opening of Surifesta, and that was actually the kickoff, which led to the Uruyari Awards the next following, I think 3 years or 2 or 3 years, we had the Uruyari Award show in TBL cinemas as well. But this was really my first Surifesta project as chairman of Surifesta. So it's always fun to look back at these things. Yes, I used to do art as well. Drawings, more drawings, more drawings. Back when Photoshop was like really only for people who were like working on a Mac and we only had Paint, this was how I made flyers. So this is the raw design for a flyer, and then I think I still have the digital version somewhere. So I'll link that one up. I'll show that one as well. For those of you who are familiar with Rally, this might look familiar to you, but it's actually my own version that I made. This was for a treasure hunt in Barcelona. And the funny thing about it is that me and Gertjan, the two of us, we went a month or 2 months in advance of the trip that we were going. We went to scout and actually took pictures in Barcelona, and we just spent a weekend there. And then we had a complete like treasure hunt the first day that everybody, the group of 40 people, was in Barcelona. And this was the control card for that particular treasure hunt. Yes, I actually wrote papers on event management when I was studying. Another design I made like more than 10 years ago. As a minor, I did organization studies, and actually I found a textbook or a copy of a textbook on company law. This could be quite useful. Now here's something I never use. My urban studies textbook from my master's. This is something really that I don't do anything with right now. So maybe 2-3 times a year, I try to mind map everything that I do. This is a mind map of 2011. So basically, there are like 20 of these stashed everywhere since since 2010-11 that I've started mind mapping everything that I do to get a bigger picture and a better picture of what I'm doing and how it's all connected to each other. Yes, I own a snowboard. No questions. So, I moved to my old apartment to get you even more stuff. My high school notebook. Now you're gonna see how great of a student I am. Oh wait, never mind. This is actually what I did in class. There was a time that I was a certified volleyball trainer in the Netherlands. Proof. There was a time that I actually played volleyball. Damn, it's hot in here. The second Surifesta invitation. Old programs, Surifesta programs. Yeah, Joey, it's the Rastafarian again. And a better version the next year. This is when they still got printed out a lot and everybody took them home to see the full program of December. Now, of course, you have the Surifesta mobile app. The Surifesta mobile app. A jazz festival invitation. Did I already mention the Suriname Jazz Festival? There was a time that I made it to the front of the student paper. Rob, remember this one? So a friend of mine named Deepak and I, basically we found out that there wouldn't be any high school yearbook. So we kind of made this high school yearbook. Now you have to remember one thing. Again, Paint. We didn't know Photoshop. It's 2002. My first calendar design. Again, no Photoshop. So back in 2003, I actually did a career test at the Tilburg University just to get a general idea of what I was going to be or what I could be or what studies would interest me. These are the results. Now the interesting part about it is there are actually scores on them. And if you can see correctly, like here, I scored 187 out of 200 for entrepreneurship. And yes, that was my highest score out of the 6 different scores that there were. So basically that's interesting. But of course the test, I mean, there wasn't an outcome that you can become an entrepreneur. The 3 or 4 most logical choices for me would be a policy advisor for art and culture, so on a national level, event organizer, a gallery owner, or a team lead for film or TV. See, the interesting part, out of those 4 that I mentioned, only one of them requires a master's degree from a university. So that was a very, very interesting thing. And when I look back at it, yes, it still makes a lot of sense, even today, the scores that I got and what I'm really interested in. Not just only what I'm good at, but what I'm really interested in. So maybe I should have looked at these tests a little bit more and took the result a little bit more serious. And I have spared maybe 5 years of my life. But hey, we all waste time. And those are the best days of our life.
Because when I die, buddy, You know what's gonna keep me warm? That's right, those degrees.
So there's one more thing that I want to find before we close off. Wish me luck. Basically the thing that I actually came here for, didn't find it. So I'm going to close off with some random things. Best book that I never finished reading, Double Your Dating. The interesting thing is people just tend to forget that if you want something, you have to learn about it, you have to practice it, you have to do research, and that's the same with women as well. For me, for instance, I wasn't good with women. Still not really am. But I decided to read the book and actually put those things in practice, and of course, not misusing the information in the book. And believe it or not, the book actually helped me be more self-confident, actually helped me be more confident around women and not be weird. Well, I'm still weird, but that's beside the point. Most difficult book I have ever read. Shakas Lacan. Terrible, terrible stuff. Really interesting, really hard to read. I wouldn't recommend it. Het Sociale van Cultuur. Yes, it's in Dutch. It's actually a Belgian book, and it's a really good book if you're interested in developing culture and knowing more about culture and how culture can help your community grow. I would definitely recommend the textbook. It's good. Faf, Felicia, and Scrivi Stranatomo. This is my favorite book. This is a book that I always give away to friends, family, relatives, and people who are interested in learning the language, the Surinamese language. It gives a very, very good insight into how the language works and how everything is written. So that's why I actually like it as one of my favorites. And of course, it doesn't cost a lot. You just have to know where to find it. So that was it for today's episode. Hopefully you get a little bit more insight into who I am, what I'm about. I thought it would be different to show some memories from my past, to give you an idea of what I've done instead of just answering questions about what's my favorite color and those kind of things. Thank you for watching, Diego. Please like and subscribe my video. Follow me on Instagram if you want to get a shout out here as well. Bye-bye. Thank you. Tambung. Song lyrics to the song that I performed on my wedding. Yes, I performed on my wedding. Yes, it did rain afterwards. But still, it was pretty epic. Say hi, Aileen.